Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my privilege today to introduce you to Charles Pachter. How you doing, Charles?
Very well, thanks, especially now.
I'm so happy you're here today. Charles, can we start from the beginning and how you got to where we are today?
Sure. A seminal event in my childhood when I was only 4 years old was a film that I was asked to be in called Johnny at the Fair. It was the reopening of the CNE, the Canadian National Exhibition after the war. And I got chosen to play a lost little boy at the fair. And in this movie, which by the way is on YouTube, narrated by Lauren Green, I got kissed by Barbara Ann Scott. I shook hands with Prime Minister Mackenzie King, and I pet a moose. That's
Oh my
how it
goodness.
started. And I got the illusory impression at age 4 that Canada was glamorous. I was awakened every single day for 2 weeks and taken down to the X. My parents are in the film as well. They play themselves. It's really worth your viewers to just go on YouTube and click on Johnny at the Fair, National Film Board. That's how it all started. The fact that I still have a memory of petting that moose at the CNE, I can smell the fur. And there was this old guy named Joe LaFlamme who came from Gogama, Northern Ontario, with his pet moose. He was a legitimate Canadian eccentric and he traveled all over North America with this moose. 50,000 people showed up at Times Square in 1950 to see him with his moose. But anyway, I did for the moose what Andy Warhol did for Marilyn Monroe and Jackie Kennedy. I made the moose glamorous.
I love it.
And I have been selling these paintings all over the world for the last 50 years. They're in collections in Japan, in Bangladesh, in the UK, and France. I've been a really lucky guy because I've been painting for over 60 years and I've had shows all over the world. And now here I am back in Toronto and with a second studio in Orillia, which is just 90 minutes north of the city. Love it there. I've got a beautiful compound right in the heart of town. And I can say with all honesty that I don't enjoy air travel today. Everything's changed in the last 15 or 20 years. The world is now 8 billion people. Traveling is a chore, something to be wished for. It depends. I've done it all. I've been to all the great capitals. I've had shows all over the world. And now I'm happy to be content. Having said all that, guess what? My partner and I, Keith, we've just bought a home in Mexico. And we're going to be spending winters there from now on. A beautiful little town called Ajijic, spelled Ajijic, 40 minutes by car from Guadalajara. And you can now fly, thank goodness, direct to Guadalajara from Toronto. It's a 5-hour flight. It's like flying to LA. So we're thrilled. The town is full of affluent Canadians and Americans in the winter. We got a gorgeous home right in the heart of town with a pool and a gardener and a housekeeper. So we'll go down in November and stay through April. And I have lived through 76 winters in my 82 years. And now I'm going to, however long, much longer I have, I'd like to spend it. Ajijic has been deemed the second best climate in the world all year, winter and summer. It's 80 during the day and 70 at night, all year.
That's fantastic.
So it's very exciting that we've made that decision. And there you are.
So first, congratulations. That's wonderful. I want to say I know Aurelia. It's a lovely town. And you said you have a compound there. So it just happens I'm all excited about that too. Mexico is great. But
Yeah.
honestly, our wonderful town of Aurelia, I've been up there. You have Casino Rama up there. You have beautiful, my goodness, it's a lovely, lovely area to be living
It's
in.
on two lakes. What I love most about it, and I say this with great respect to my hometown, the Toronto that I once knew is gone forever. The world of Pierre Burton and Barbara Frum and June Callwood and Peter Zosky, we were all friends. And here I am now in my 80s. They're all gone. And I got lucky because I met Keith, who's from Aurelia, and we got married 7 years ago. It's also on YouTube. You can see
Okay.
Charles Keith wedding. 350 people came to our wedding in Aurelia. Margaret Atwood was the handmaid of honor.
Oh my
I've
goodness.
known Margaret since I'm 16, and I spent years illustrating her poetry for my graduate degree at the Cranbrook Academy of Art. You can, if you go on YouTube, just click in Atwood Pachter Susanna Moody, and you'll see me and Margaret talking about our collaborations together over the years. She has been one of the great joys of my life ever since I've known her. We met at summer camp in 1960 at Camp White Pine in Haliburton, Ontario. She was 19 and I was 17. They called her Peggy Nature. She had a little hut full of frogs and snakes and worms and everything else. And the kids were sitting squirming at her feet. And she called me over and she said, I want you to stroke a toad to prove to the kids that you won't get warts. I stroked the toad. I didn't get warts. And
Didn't get one.
we've become lifelong friends ever since. She'll be 86 in November,
Oh my
and she's
goodness.
just come out with her memoir, and there's a chapter with me in it. So I'm thrilled
Oh,
about
and
it.
you're in it.
Yes. Well, we've been friends for over
Yeah.
60 years. So it's pretty exciting.
Oh,
Anyway,
that is
the other reason we love Aurelia is because it's only from downtown Toronto, and you know when to go. It's exactly a 90-minute drive.
from
It's
downtown. Yeah.
yeah, it's easy to, it's a half an hour to 400, and then up to 400, it's an hour.
Oh, it's absolutely an easy drive. I'm from Oshawa, out
So you
east of
know, and you
Toronto,
can
and
get
I go,
there. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
straight up number 12. We're
Sure.
right there. It's a wonderful area. But now you're going to Mexico with your partner. I think that's wonderful. So Keith and you have found a place. So you're going to
Yeah.
go all winter, stay there, and then come back up to Aurelia. Is that the
Pretty well.
idea?
I think what we'll do is because I once had over a dozen properties on
Sure.
Queen Street. I was the
Oh,
king of Queen Street in the 70s and the 80s. I had a company called Artists Alliance, and we had over 70 tenants with a fabulous restaurant called Gracie's, which only lasted for 2 years, and then it had to close because the interest rates in 1982 went to 23%.
you're right. I
Was a
remember.
nightmare. But it was the place where everybody went. Al Waxman was there and Roloff Benny and
Oh,
all the
wow.
big stars came and ate at Gracie's. And we had fun there. We had themed dining rooms, the Scarborough Room, the Mississauga Room, the Rosedale Room, and the Forest Hill Room. The Forest Hill Room had boxed Chinese food. The Rosedale Room had burnt roast beef with beige gravy and overdone potatoes.
I love it.
Every room had a satire. The Scarborough Room had Jello mold with shepherd's pie, but it was a huge hit while it lasted. It was way ahead of its time. Some people who are watching may remember Gracie's. It was over 40 years ago.
Isn't that something?
Once again, we go up to Aurelia, and we're in downtown Toronto right now, right beside the AGO. I have this huge new museum that I built,
Oh,
cost
beautiful.
$1 million. Thank you very much. The Charles Pachter Museum. My website's being fixed right now, but in time you'll be able to look online. You can look even on Toronto Life did an article on my new museum. We've been here for 3 years now. It looks out over the city. It's a beautiful spot. But once again, we get in the car and we're up in Aurelia, where I have 4 buildings in a central compound right in the heart of town. In Toronto, we have dim sum, and in Aurelia, we have fish and chips.
You
Best
have a fish and chip place in Aurelia right on Highway 12. Is that
Oh, that's Weber's. That's the big one with the hamburgers. Yeah.
yeah, you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Aurelia is such a nice town, but I have to come by and see you. Oh my
Of
goodness.
course, anytime.
Oh,
You're
thank you. I would
welcome to
love
come.
that.
Yeah.
I
And of
would love
course,
that.
I had a cottage on Lake Simcoe.
I
It
know
was
it.
a former ice house that I turned into my studio. And for 8 years, it was the place where everybody I knew sat on my deck drinking
Sure.
cocktails and whatever and talking to each other. And I loved it out there, but I used to go into Aurelia to buy butter tarts and go to the Goodwill. And I fell in love with the town because I'm a real estate junkie. And 10 years ago, the real estate there was about 20% of the cost of Toronto.
Sure, sure.
Well, I bought everything then, and now I'm reaping the benefits of what I did then. And I learned how to do all that on Queen Street in the 70s and the 80s. So it was a rehearsal for doing it in Aurelia. And I never realized when the day I met Keith, it was a hot summer night. My studio door was open. He walked by, I sneezed. He said, "Bless you," and the rest is history.
I love it. Oh, how
You can see the wedding on YouTube. It's really
Oh,
special.
I'm going to watch it. I'm actually, just so you know, I'm going to put everything that you talked about on your show. We're going to put it in the show notes. And when I do a little promotion, I'm going to get you to give me your art, get some copies of your art, like the
Sure.
pictures of it, so that I can rotate them so everyone can see your wonderful art. And let's talk about your studio now. So two things.
Yeah.
First, the kind of art that you do, tell our viewers what kind of art you do.
Well, I was pretty much part of the pop art movement in the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
I got my first job teaching at the University of Calgary in 1969, and I drove alone across Canada in my little mini minor, and I was so overwhelmed by the vastness and emptiness of the country. When I got to Calgary, I was not surprised that every single Canadian art magazine was full of stories about American pop artists. Part of the colonial hang up is that the attitude that if it comes from elsewhere, it's important. And if it comes from here, who do you think you are? And I was the grandson of immigrants, neither French nor English. I call my group peeved, practically everybody else vaguely ethnically defined. We're
I
the
like that.
third group of Canada. And it was in Calgary where I started doing images of Mounties and cowgirls. And I then came back to Toronto in 1970 and began doing all these images of moose. And I'd first seen moose out in Calgary by the highways, licking the salt on the side of the road.
Sure.
And then I got lucky. I had my first major exhibition at the Isaacs Gallery in Toronto in 1972
Oh,
of
very good.
streetcars. When Andy Warhol was doing
Hmm.
soup cans, I did the Toronto streetcar. And it was a hugely successful show, my first major commercial show. And then I remember I went in the summer of 1972. I drove to the Gas Bay and I heard on the radio that the Queen was coming to Niagara on the Lake in June of 1973 to open the new Shaw Festival Theater. So I started doing these paintings of the Queen and I put her on a moose because Pierre Trudeau had started calling her the Queen of Canada. It was the first time that expression came into use. And so I put her on the moose and I showed these images to my dealer and he said, I can't show these and I don't have to tell you why. In those years, the Canadian WASP establishment venerated the monarchy. They revered the monarchy. That's gone now. It's a different world. Today, if they pick their nose, it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a whole different vibe.
it is.
But because I had this instinct for affectionate mischief, I did this image of the Queen saluting on the moose. And I happened to get lucky because I read that she was coming to the Shaw Festival to open the new theater. I happened to live on a street called Shaw Street in
Oh,
downtown Toronto. I opened my show at my own home and I called it the Other Shaw Festival. And a friend of mine had an antique Rolls Royce and he drove up to the curb and his wife sat in the back with a hat and a glove going like this all afternoon.
oh, I
It
love it.
press around the world.
Oh, I bet.
Killer in newspapers, but it said Canada in royal rage over Queen on Moose, monarchists threatened to slash canvases, artists warned to stay indoors. It was all hype and silly, but from Rio de Janeiro to Paris to New
Sure.
York, it made me into a Canadian Andy Warhol at age 30.
That's
And
fantastic.
yes, wouldn't you know it, I never sold one painting.
Oh, is that right?
Canada.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't
Six
that something?
years later, I had the painting in my home in 1979, and a woman named Rain Monk, who came to Toronto from Ottawa, she had founded the Canadian Museum of Photography. She took one look at the painting of the Queen on the Moose and she said, how much do you want for that? I said, I don't know, $500. She said, oh, I can't give you that. I said, really? How much will you give me? She said, I'm giving you 5,000. She said,
Oh my goodness.
it's the most important piece of pop art to have ever been created in Canada. She understood where I was coming from.
Sure.
There were three major women in my life who were instrumental in furthering my career. Lorraine was one, Bluma Appel was another from Montreal, moved here after Levesque got elected and became a very famous philanthropist, and another one named Beatrice Fisher, and another one named Nona MacDonald Heaslip. There were four of them, all women who were there for me throughout my career. One of the highlights of my career was a show I had in France in 1991. The French treat artists the way Canadians treat hockey players.
Oh,
To
okay.
them, to them, I was a star. They called me le maître de l'exotisme canadien, the master of Canadian exoticism.
Oh, I love
A
that.
huge, huge hit. 40 people flew over from Canada for the opening in October in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence, in the south of France. I was lucky because I went to the Sorbonne when I was only 20, my third year abroad from U of T, and that's where I learned to speak French. And because of that, I got a job at Expo 67.
Oh, okay.
I was in Montreal for a year and a half and loved it as well. So I've been very grateful for the career that I've had because I was a middle class kid with good business instincts. I always explain to people when they ask me, how did I manage to become such a success? I say the same number of artists are good at business as people, 1%.
Oh, okay. That's a good point.
See what I'm saying? The dealers like to spread the word that artists are all inept neurotics who need them to build them up. I was middle class. I was good
Yeah.
at business. And I'm not embarrassed to say, after having had 5 dealers up until the time I turned 60, I decided to go out on my own because with a dealer, they take 50% and they don't buy the work. It's all on
Oh,
consignment.
oh,
You
okay.
never know when you're going to get a check, right?
Oh,
So I
okay.
went out on my own and I made up the name of a fake art critic who loved my work because I was being trashed in the Globe and Mail by John Bentley Mays constantly. He
Oh
hated
my
me. He
goodness.
hated most artists. He had a lot of problems.
Okay.
And in WASP culture, if you have a hyphenated name, you're taken more seriously. So John Bentley Mays was the Globe and Mail. I made up the name of a fake art critic. Are you ready? The
Yeah.
hint comes from Three Rivers. His name was Don Rouge Humber.
I love it. I
And I
love it.
and I put an ad in the Globe and Mail saying, "So stunning words fail me." Signed Don Rouge Humber.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I'm sitting in my gallery, and one day a German guy walked in and bought 6 paintings. I couldn't believe my luck. And I said, "How did you hear about me anyway?" He said, "Well, I've known of your work for years, but I see glowing review in Globe and Mail from Don Rouge Humber." I thought, oh, what do I do now? I don't want to be accused of fraud. I better tell him. I said, "Well, there's something you should know. I made up Don Rouge Humber. He's my alter ego." He took out a check. He said, "In that case, do I write this to you or to him?"
I love it. Oh,
And
that's a
P.S.,
perfect
since
story.
that time, he bought another 10 paintings. It turns out he was a gazillionaire and the lumber baron, owning hundreds of thousands of acres in northern Ontario, all because I put the Don Rouge Humber ad in the Globe and Mail. And I never looked back since then.
Yes, that's
I've
great.
had such fun with him. And I even have a picture of him on my website looking at my work. He's wearing a wig and dark glasses. And there you go.
I love that story. Thank you for sharing that. That's fantastic. You are such a wonderful character. No wonder you're just so successful. I want to ask you too. Now, let's talk about your studios because you mentioned you've got now you're in Toronto. Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard you say Toronto and Aurelia, and I know you're vacationing in Mexico. Are those the two studios you have?
I have two, one in Toronto, right
And
downtown. I'm
say
just
the
a
name
hundred.
again, Charles.
The Charles Pachter Museum is just
Thank you.
100 meters from the AGO. You
Okay.
can't miss it. It's a beautiful contemporary building. The front of it was designed by Stephen Teeple, who's a starchitect. He's a Canadian star.
Oh, nice.
And then the back was in 2005. And you can see it at 22 Grange Avenue if you go on Google Maps.
Okay.
And the back was a huge, a bigger space that used to be a funeral home of all things, which I then converted into a showroom and gallery. It was demolished in 2018, and we built a new 3-story museum in the back. So altogether in Toronto, there's over 8,000 square feet, right beside 100 meters from the AGO. I'm the baby brother of the AGO and OCAD,
I
right there.
love that.
And then in Aurelia, I've got a compound of 5 buildings right in the heart of town. We're literally within walking distance of the lake and the beach. It's all very convenient. And Keith's family is all from up there.
Oh, nice. Now, what
That's
is the name of your compound there? Is it obvious
I
or
called
is
it
it private?
MoFo.
Pardon?
I called it MoFo
Mofo.
for Moose Factory of Aurelia.
Oh, I
That,
love that.
yeah.
I
It's
love
not
that.
what the kids say, you mofo you. Do you know what
Yeah, yeah, I know what that
okay.
is. Yeah, is it
Okay.
fear of missing out or something like that?
I don't know whether I can say it on air. You
Oh
can,
no, if it's bad, don't.
the kids will know what mofo means. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I love that because now you have a studio and are you still doing artistry now? Or are you still painting?
Yes, indeed I am. And I'll have a studio in Mexico as well, in
Oh,
Ajijic.
nice.
The biggest challenge for us is moving furniture and clothing and books and art down to Mexico. It's a 2 week challenge, but there is a company in the town that is going to be sending a truck up, and they'll pick up couches and tables and art from Aurelia and then pick more stuff up in Toronto and drive it down to Mexico. So we
Is
should have
that
it all by November. Yeah.
wow? Oh, that's amazing. Someone wouldn't think, when you're going to a cottage or something, you're kind of doing something, but this is like a huge over to another country move.
Yeah,
So,
it's a big deal, but the Mexican consulate in Toronto was terrific. I had to go there for 2 or 3 times to get an application for a permanent visa. We're doing all that, and we'll
oh,
finish it all when we're down there. So and you know what? There have been many famous Canadians among artists among them who have had homes in Mexico. Taller Cranston was there for 25
oh,
years.
oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, he was in San Miguel de Allende. Margaret Atwood goes down there in January and February. It's a beautiful town near Mexico City. So, but Ajijic is very close to Guadalajara, which is the second biggest city in Mexico.
Oh, very nice. And I know you're friends with Margaret Atwood. You're all our Canadian wonderful artists, and we certainly adore all of you. So that's great. And it's nice of you to mention her on the show. And I know that you're in her next book, so that's nice. She's mentioned you, and you're good friends. So that's wonderful. Maybe we'll get her on our show one day too with you.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, she may just do it because of her memoir coming out.
She'd love to have her on. We certainly would.
Our
And you
most
can come on
famous
with her.
Well, there is on YouTube. There's one. Have you
I'm
heard of
gonna.
the Journals of Susanna Moody? Is our most famous book. It has been, pardon my immodesty, it has been hailed as our masterpiece.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
I want you to tell us because I want everyone to be able to go there and see it. So
it
I
is on YouTube. You click in Atwood Pachter Moody, Moodie.
got it.
Susanna Moody came to Ontario in the 1830s and wrote a book called Roughing It in the Bush.
Okay.
Atwood based a series of poems on that. I was working in Montreal at Expo when she sent me the poems from Boston. She was at
Oh,
Harvard. And I knew the minute I saw it that it was brilliant. And it
oh,
took me 10 years to find the means. I brought printers over from Spain and we worked on it from February to October of 1980. It has been called the most spectacular collaboration between a Canadian poet and artist ever. And it's in museums all over the world. It's in collections everywhere. But your viewers can see she and I talking about it on YouTube.
oh, that's great.
Pachter, The Journals of Susanna Moody.
I'll make sure that's also in the show notes for you, Charles, because that's important. You're just such a wonderful, wonderful man, and we've had such a wonderful interview. I really want our viewers to be able to see all of your works. Now, your website is ready, or is that?
It's being fixed right now as we speak. But if you type my name in, Oeno Gallery, Oeno in Prince Edward County, has a beautiful website where they feature my work.
Perfect,
She's
because I want them to.
Oeno, that's Latin for wine.
Oh, okay.
Oeno.
O
She's on
E
the
N.
top of the States Winery, but it's my best dealer I've ever had in Canada. She's Carlin Moulton is her name, and she's done really well for me. The other big one is Heffel, Heffel, the auction house.
Oh,
Those are my two big sources for the sales of my work, as well as me selling my own stuff. But your viewers can just type my name into Google. There's all kinds of stuff.
sure, that was the most important because I want them to be able to reach out and look at your art and purchase
Yeah.
if they wish to do that, and your studios, which is great because they'll be able to go out there. I wanted to ask you, Charles, do you have open houses for in your studio where you
Yes,
sign?
we often post on Facebook when we have an open house. Right now, today is the second to last day of a huge show I have in Port Carling. This
I
is
know
the
Port
biggest
Carling too,
It's
sure.
the biggest solo exhibition I've had in years, but I was talked into it by two very important collector dealers. It opened last Saturday. Over 300 people showed up. It's rich cottage country, as you know. Port
Yes,
Carling is a charming town in a beautiful building. You can look that up as well.
sure.
It's on Facebook, the Port Carling Show. It closes tomorrow.
Oh,
If
okay. Okay.
I don't know if your viewers are seeing this now.
I'll try to get it up in time. If not, but well, at least they know where you have your shows, and the next time you go up there, they'll be able to do that. I
Yeah,
will make sure all of that is here though, because you are such a genuine, wonderful man to share your stories. It's wonderful. I have another question for you, Charles.
go ahead.
As we wrap up today, would you come back and do another episode with me down the road and let us know how you're doing and tell us about your trip in Mexico?
Sure. You can interview me in Mexico in December if you like.
I'd love that. Will you come on? You can come right on Zoom and we can do another interview right in Mexico. I'd love that.
Why
And
not? Of
perhaps you could show us some of your art from behind. Would that be all right?
course, I'd be happy to. Yeah.
Oh, Charles, you're wonderful. It was truly my pleasure today to have you on the show. You are such an interesting man. I already knew your background, but it was so nice to get your story. Now, can I ask, I add another question? Can we ask what Keith, your wonderful partner, does? Is he with you with the
He
art?
is, first of all, I am speechless with gratitude at how we met. I'm a kind of complicated guy personally because three women I had had affairs with came to our wedding. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm somewhere around a 5 or a 6. But Keith has been a joyful partner. He is incredibly caring and looks after me, feeds me 12 vitamin pills a day. I don't even know what they are. And scolds me if I don't take them. He said, "You didn't take your afternoon pills yet." I said, "Okay, I'll take them. Don't worry." But I'm 82 and Keith is 59.
Oh,
And
nice.
he's just wonderful to have in my life. He's just
Yeah.
a terrific, helpful partner. And he's an extremely talented portrait artist as well.
Oh, see, that's what I wondered if he's in the art
He
because you
learned
said
some
he came
stuff
into
from
your
the
building.
boss. He learned some stuff from me, but he's really, really good. Yeah.
Oh, I'm thrilled for you. I truly am. And congratulations on your nuptials. That's wonderful. And I know you're going to have a wonderful time in Mexico this winter. That's fantastic. So, Charles, I am
Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Oh, my pleasure. If I knew that language, I would come back with
There
it.
you go.
So but I want to tell you, it was truly my pleasure today. Everyone, please go over to Charles' site. You're so gonna be happy about that. Head up to Aurelia or wait for him and let's have him back on our show in Mexico. That would be exciting. So this is Charles Pachter, and go ahead to all his web pages. I'm going to make sure that all his information's here so you're able to look up and take a look at your art. So again, Charles, I truly appreciate your time. Forward to another interview with you. And in the meantime, I'll make sure all your information's here.
Okay. Lovely to spend time with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. To everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. Do subscribe to my channel. I truly appreciate that. I hope you're all having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye-bye.